Hello, everyone. Welcome to your 5-star guide to reviews. We're very excited to have you here. We're going to go over a couple of housekeeping questions and answers first. So first off, if you can't hear us, turn on your speakers. Second, if you're having trouble seeing us, refresh your browser. That may be needed several times throughout the presentation. And third, if you still have issues, send us a Q&A in the webinar platform or email us at webinars@vivial.net. We are excited to have 2 audiences on today in the webinar platform and on Facebook Live. So hello there. We're simulcast today. So let's get right into the content. I'm Shannon Myers, Director of Product Marketing here at Vivial. I've been in the digital marketing space for 14 years now, and I'm really passionate about helping customers grow their business. Jason?
My name is Jason Hockett. I'm a manager. I manage one of the account coordinator teams. I've been with Vivial now for 6 years this summer.
And I am Tiffany England. I am an account coordinator. Been here for just over 2 years, and I work one-on-one with the business owners actually managing the campaigns.
My name is John Orr. I'm a client success manager here at Vivial. Been here for 2 years, and my job is to make sure all our clients stay happy.
Awesome. So I'm super excited to have these panelists here today. They have a ton of knowledge and expertise in this area, and I'm sure you'll learn a ton. So for the first question, we know that the audience is on today because they know that reviews are important for the business. But I want to ask you, why are reviews crucial for a business in this day and age?
I'll go ahead and get us started off here. I like that you said crucial because they really are nowadays. I feel like they are so crucial because they are everywhere. Mm-hmm. And they matter so much to consumers nowadays. The average consumer reads about 7 reviews before they actually decide to trust your business, which is a lot. I mean, if you were to pull up a Google page and put in your business name, you'll see right there on the front page all of the different sources that they have some really good examples. You've got Google, social media, Yelp, other directories like that, home advisors. So they're out there. Sometimes my business owners don't even know they have reviews out there online. So
yeah, I'd say it's crucial because a statistic I just recently read was that it said that 85% of consumers trust a review online as much as they trust a personal recommendation from a friend. A good example of that was myself recently, about a month ago. I had to go to the eye doctor, and a friend of mine had recommended the eye doctor that I went to, but the first thing that I did before going there was I jumped online and I looked at the reviews that they had and then gave them a call.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, your online reputation is based off those reviews online. Whether they are true or not, they're out there, and that's feedback, from your clients. So even if you don't have your online listings claimed and are managing them, those reviews are out there, and that's why it's very important to go out there and claim and manage them. If you have a physical location, Google recognizes that, and that's how directories work.
they do. I actually get a pop-up on my phone if my location is on. When I leave a location, Google pops up and for that business asks me to leave a review.
Awesome. So essentially, they're essential.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yep.
Awesome.
Definitely, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, next question. So on what sites is it most important for reviews to exist?
So I would say that I believe that Google would be the most important one for ones to exist. And the reason for that is just the way that search has really evolved. Now with probably 3/4 of the search, I think last year, being done on Google, you really want those reviews to be showing in a place where people are in the midst of making a buying decision.
Yeah, and I'll say, I find myself working with Google a lot, and I think that has a lot to do with smartphones, things like that. But I think it's going to be hard to kind of rank them in any one order or what might be more important, because they all work a little bit differently. Different algorithms, these are different companies, so they have different goals in mind with the reviews. So it might be kind of hard to put them in a particular order.
It definitely is hard, and Google's the first one that comes to mind just because everyone does use it so much. But Facebook has really become a trusted source for online business reviews. So many people use Facebook, and just the format of Facebook itself, how it's, a human interaction platform, it gives a way more personalized experience for reviews for potential customers.
I agree.
And now that you have recommendations on Facebook, it's so easy to link to a business's page when you're recommending, and then they can see reviews there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some resources.
Very cool. So we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Yelp as a review site. So Yelp is very popular, especially in the hospitality industry, restaurants, hotels, etc. And Yelp is a little different than Google and Facebook and others because it will actually use an algorithm to determine what reviews show up. So some can get filtered out based on a variety of factors. We don't know the exact algorithm, but we do know some of the things that are at play here. So what do you all know is a factor that they're taking into account?
Yeah, so I would say a few things to mention would be how many reviews that business has on Yelp. Another would be the person that did left the review, what their circle of influence is, so how many friends they have on social media. So those are a few of the things that they look at when they're filtering reviews, as well as even polarity of the reviews. So if they have just all 5 stars or 1 stars, that would be another item that they look at.
I've had a few of my business owners that I work with. Probably the most common questions that I get surrounding reviews are a lot around Yelp. A little bit of confusion as to, I've got this really awesome review that someone left me. They let me know that they put it on there, but now it's gone. Their algorithm or their kind of secret sauce is a little bit different, a little more consumer driven than like Facebook and other places.
Absolutely. And Shannon, you mentioned industry specific review sites as well. So it's very important for businesses to be on the Better Business Bureau, so bbb.org, as well as on other industry specific sites. And all in all, it's just important for businesses to have a presence across all the listings we've talked about. And it's important for consumers to also check multiple sites when reviewing businesses, so you get a full view and grasp of what that business is all about.
Definitely.
All right. So next question. What are some strategies that you recommend for businesses generating reviews?
Great question. And, the easiest thing to do is simply ask for those reviews. The best time to ask for a review is when you are in the context of a client having a great experience with your business. We found that 68% of consumers will leave a review for a business if they're just simply asked. So that's, 7 out of 10 people are going to leave one if you just simply ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we found that 74% of people will leave a review when they're asked to provide feedback. So it's just a nice way to word it. You're asking for feedback. It's genuine. Whether it's good, bad, indifferent feedback, you're asking the client for their personal opinion. So it just helps your reputation.
Organic.
Yep.
Natural. Yes.
Yep.
And I would say, crucially, to definitely get a system put in place. The biggest strategy that I could recommend is to involve your crew, involve your team, involve the company. A lot of people, you already have forms that clients fill out. Include things on the forms that are going to be beneficial in the end, email addresses, phone numbers. I think the biggest is to put someone in that place to do the job, and just understand that it's such a big priority nowadays.
Yeah, and to both of your points, I would agree. I would say what you really need to do is have the reviews invite that feedback everywhere, right? So whether it's like Tiffany said at the bottom of an email, or it's on your marketing collateral, on your business cards, just making sure that that's everywhere. A good example of that is a lawn care company that we use to fertilize our lawn. They send us our bill via email. They have it on the bottom of their reviews asking for on the bottom of their email asking for feedback. And they have it on the marketing collateral that they leave on our door. So they're really just making sure that they're inviting that feedback everywhere, because really any great business is going to want feedback. So whether that feedback is good or bad, you would want to know how your customers perceive you.
Yeah.
I would add to be persistent. So to ask and then ask again. So recently we purchased a new home, and afterwards our realtor helped us to survive the process. So I went on to my own Facebook page and posted for my family and friends to see that we had a great experience. He was awesome. He helped us survive. And then he sent me an email saying, would you review me on this site? Well, at the time I was unpacking boxes and didn't have the time to do it. So later he sent me another request. And finally at that point we were moved in and I was able to respond. So ask and ask again.
Yep. Good point.
All right. So how much time should businesses spend on the review process?
I think the timing aspect can be a little bit tricky, because when you first said that, when I thought about time, I think about the time that it takes to maybe seek out that you have reviews and to actually respond to them. And I guess that can change a little bit too. I mean, it depends on the size of your business. It depends on how many reviews that you have available out there. I would say a good time frame to at least check on the reviews to see if you've gotten any new ones is about 24 to 48 hours. And especially if you get a negative review, because with negatives, you want to respond to those immediately. You do not want those festering out there. But yeah, I'd say 1 to 2 days is a time frame just to make sure you're staying on top of it.
Yeah, and when I think of timing, I go right to requesting reviews. A lot of our clients, don't even know where to start. So requesting reviews, as long as you, and we talked about it, make it a part of your everyday process, every interaction you have, and involving all your client-facing employees to work on it, it's not going to take very much time at all. It's going to become normal, everyday process. Now, something that might start to take more time is the following up. So we've talked about that as well. You want to set aside some time each day to review your sites and follow up on any feedback you guys have gotten.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely making it a priority. Certainly. Like Tiffany said, responding to those reviews in that 24 to 48 hours. Just this past weekend on Saturday night, my wife and I were ordering a pizza, and she called the pizza place like 6 times and did not get through at all. She called from my phone, from her phone. So she ended up leaving a review on their Facebook page. That pizza place, they responded to that review by the next day. So it's important to make sure, like you said, that you're responding to those reviews quickly. Because again, when we're ordering a pizza, right, if they waited a week or 2 weeks to respond to that review, we were looking to order a pizza, the night before, not 2 weeks from now. So
Right. Good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I recently worked with a hair salon that has 3 locations, and I applauded the business owner because she shared with me that every morning she would wake up and check all of the review sites. So Facebook, Google, Yelp, and more for all 3 locations in order to make certain she knew what was going on out there and to respond quickly, which is great. But she shared it took a lot of time. So that leads to the question of, what are some strategies that businesses can use to go through this process, especially for those smaller businesses that don't have a lot of resources?
Great question. Let's take a second and actually discuss, what is the review process? Step 1, you've got to have the conversation, ask for the reviews on the respective review sites. Second, you're going to have to follow up, whether that be via email or text, and include the links for your review sites so they have easy access to it. 3, you need to make sure that you're catching all those reviews. Make sure you're not missing anything. Number 4, you need to make sure that you're responding to those reviews. And we'll get into a little bit more detail about the best ways to do that moving forward.
And again, like I was saying, a good way to keep on top of this is a lot of the different companies out there that promote star ratings for you. They can send an email to you, an email or even a text message to let you know that something new has just come in. So I definitely recommend looking into those types of options. We all get busy. So automation and cell phones, I think, would be our friend in this situation.
yeah, absolutely. So even the Viveo marketing platform, right? With the Viveo marketing platform, you're able to track and manage all of that in one place. There's a lot of review sites, and having, like you said, with your hairstylist, if they're having to check all of those sites every day, can certainly be time consuming. So just streamlining the process and having one place to go is perfect as well.
And there's new sites being added on constantly all the time. There's definitely a market out there for the review game right now. So there's new ones coming in all of the time. So perfect what you just said.
keep your finger on the pulse.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So there is a free download that is available in the webinar platform over here. And then on Facebook Live, just type in download in the comments field and we'll make certain that we get it to you. So it's streamlined the review process very much like what we just discussed, but it goes into much greater detail. All right, so this is not a trick question, but how do you know if your review generation efforts are working?
So it sounds like a trick question, but I would say certainly if you should be seeing more reviews and better reviews as well. But like I just mentioned, using the Viveo marketing platform is an awesome example of how you can really track to make sure that you are getting the most out of your efforts.
I am with that. You can definitely see it. I think something to keep in mind is to kind of manage your expectation too, because there's a lot of factors that come into reviews. So to know that your review generation is truly working, I think you will kind of look around and notice that it's a part of your day-to-day process in your business. You notice that people are looking into it, that you are getting notifications on your phone. And then of course, yeah, you're starting to accumulate those reviews, but yeah, the proof would be in the pudding there.
Yep, absolutely. And you really want a slow drip of those reviews coming in. You don't want a sudden influx or outdated reviews, especially on sites such as Yelp, with just how the cadence of reviews work. And I know Google is starting to make strides towards that as well. So you'd rather have a steady flow of reviews coming through as opposed to several reviews from the last 2 months or reviews 2 years old. So you want that steady over time reviews coming in.
Very true.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question, what's the ideal star rating to have? And does that vary by site?
So it kind of sounds like another trick question, but it is actually not a 5-star rating. We as consumers, we see a 5-star rating and we tend to question it, mostly because there's never been a business, a product, a service that has been universally liked and approved by consumers. So we found, and most consumers find, about 80% find that the most trustworthy rating would be a 4.5-star rating.
Yep. And it was 50% of consumers actually will have to have at least a 4-star rating or more to work with that business. And so I think I kind of fall within that line. I think I definitely want to see something above a 4, but like you said, a 5, a little bit fishy to me. So I'm going to say in between maybe a 4 or 4.5 I like to see with a good number of reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, my wife and I, we're expecting twin girls here in the next few months. So we were recently looking for a double stroller, right? We just have a single stroller right now for our son. Needed to upgrade to that double stroller. So one of the businesses that we were looking at, they had very polarizing reviews online. They had all 5s and 1-star reviews. So it kind of put us off a little bit. We weren't sure if they were trying to cover up those 1s by getting a bunch of 5-star reviews. So we ended up not even using that business. So we still are in the need of a double stroller. So if anybody has one, we are in the market.
Comment on Facebook Live if you do. So I would say I fall in the other 50% of the audience. So I'm a little more tolerant as a consumer. I'll take a 3.5 to a 4.5 rating. On the 3.5 side, though, I'm going to read the reviews even more so. But people know crazy when they see crazy.
Yes.
So when I see a review from someone I would deem as crazy, then I toss that out of the mix and give them a higher rating in my mind than what's actually on the site. So I've fallen that upper 50% of folks. All right. So how do you recommend people handle negative reviews?
It's a good question. First step would be to answer them. You do not want to neglect a negative review that can be very detrimental to your reputation online. We found that up to 94% of consumers have admitted to avoiding a business based on a negative review they saw online. So it's very important to get out in front of negative reviews. We mentioned timelines, 24 to 48 hours. The sooner the better for negative reviews because clients can see how much time has passed between that review being left and your response. So definitely respond quickly.
And I would say that when you respond, be kind. Be understanding. I know that it can kind of hit close to the heart, pretty emotional, if it's someone talking about your business. And I know that there are the situations out there where you are right and they are wrong. But just try to avoid making any type of an argument online. You have to remember that every person that is looking at this stream at that moment is there for your business. They're there to learn about you. So just, mind your manners, be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'd say with that, to try to turn those negatives into a positive. I think as a business, you really earn your stripes when you have that negative review or negative feedback, and how you handle that. So the customer service that you provide is a big piece of that. So just making sure, like you said, that you are being kind when you are responding and taking it offline.
I love that. Okay, so we have a download that will help you manage negative reviews. And just as a reminder, you can ask questions at any time on Facebook Live or in our webinar platform. So on the flip side, how do you recommend handling positive reviews?
So I would say, for me, an analogy that I like to use with customers is, imagine that you are managing a restaurant. And as that manager, you walk up to one of the tables and you ask a family sitting there how their meal was. So that family just starts raving about their dinner, saying it was the best meal they've ever had. The wait service was awesome. They kept their drinks filled all night. And so then, as the manager, if you don't say a word and you just turn and walk away, how do you think that leaves that family sitting there that was just sharing how wonderful the service was? You got to think about, how does that leave them feeling? So just responding to those, even the positive reviews, just saying, thank you. We hope that we can serve you again. Is very important to do for positive reviews as well as negative.
It is. I love that. People tend to kind of harp on the negative more than anything nowadays. So when someone goes out of your way to leave a positive review about your business, I mean, that means everything in the world right now. They're giving you a referral. They're basically shouting out to the world that you have done an awesome job for them. So I love that. I can't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely. And piggybacking off that, positive reviews are a great opportunity to expand your customer base. With referrals being such a big thing, you mentioned that. If someone's had a great experience, they've verbalized that, and you can say, thank you for the feedback. Please bring your family and friends. In the restaurant situation, please bring your family and friends next time. We're happy to serve you guys. And it's also an opportunity for testimonials, even for the website. If the client's willing to leave a review on Facebook or Google, then they're probably more than willing to leave reviews elsewhere as well.
That's right as well.
I actually heard recently that it can be challenging to spice up the response for a high volume of positive reviews. Well, Tiffany, what's your recommendation on that?
What I would say with that, because you're exactly right. I've read through, just like you, browsing through, checking out the reviews. Am I going to use this business or not? And you notice the business owner's response to these reviews. And one thing I'll notice that kind of gets to me is when it's a positive review and they've literally, it's like copy and pasted the exact same thing. Thank you so much for the positive review. We can't wait to do more business with you. I think putting in a personal touch is so important in the internet world we live in right now. Take something that they said in that review and turn it back around and say, repeat it back to them in the answer. If they mention that they love working with a person at that place, say, hey, we love working with that person too. Can't wait to see you again type of thing. So just make it personable.
I love it. So we also have a download on positive reviews. So take a look at that or shoot us a note on Facebook Live with download. And quick reminder, ask us questions throughout. We're very excited to answer those at the end. So this is not a trick question either, but at what point can businesses stop actively requesting reviews?
So I would say never, right? So until the day that you close the doors of your business, you should never stop asking for reviews.
I care a lot about recent reviews. I care a lot if I go to a business and if the last one was 6 months ago or something like that. Makes me wonder, are they still reaching out? Are they still interested in what their customers have to say? If it goes back a year or more, it's like, are they in business anymore? So people really depend on those. I think recency is important.
Absolutely. And we touched on that a little earlier. recency creates trust with customers. So you want to have that steady flow of reviews coming in over time. You don't want reviews from several years ago, or, this person's gotten 40 reviews in the last month. What's going on? So you want to have that steady flow, and that creates more trust with your customers.
So the short answer is never.
Yeah.
Never stop. Okay, so reminder, ask us questions. We have one more already prepared, and then we'll open it up. So what are your biggest do's and don'ts when it comes to online reviews? So you've given a lot of great tips, tricks, and tools for businesses to use. What are your biggest do's and don'ts?
Don't neglect the reviews. Definitely respond, good or bad.
Yep, I would say do incorporate the review process into your everyday workflow, and then follow that process. It's going to make it a lot easier, and it's going to streamline the whole effort.
Yep.
I would say do use the Viveo marketing platform. I would say don't try to manage it on your own, right? You've got, like I said before, all of these different review sites that you're trying to manage. You're trying to keep track of who did I send the reviews to? When did I email it or text it to them? And that frequency that we talked about, just making sure that we're following up frequently. It's just difficult to track without having some sort of management system to do that with. And like I said, the Viveo marketing platform is what I would recommend.
I would add, don't get overwhelmed. So running a business can be very busy, and online reviews are so important that you need to make certain that someone's staying on top of it, whether it be the business, a resource at the business, or a partner. So make certain it's a priority, and if you don't have the time, the resource, or the knowledge to do it, then partner with somebody who can do it for you. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We're going to go for live questions from Facebook Live and from the webinar. So the first one is, how many reviews does my business need to have on each site? What do you all think?
I like that question. That's a good kind of achieving question, and I love it. I don't know if there are a set number of reviews that you actually need per site. I think it's going to end up being, with the overall star rating and the quality of those reviews is going to mean so much more than the number of reviews. And so I guess that's kind of my piece of it.
Yeah, I would say that there's probably not a set number for each review site, but as we've kind of discussed throughout this presentation, is the more feedback you're getting from your customers, the better, and the better picture that's going to paint for future customers.
Yeah, and certainly you don't want to feel disappointed or overwhelmed, right? If you're looking at it from a standpoint of, I'm looking at my competitors as my metric, and they've got 100 reviews, and I'm just starting out. Certainly, you want to just look at it more so from the process standpoint that we talked about, of just following that process and just making it part of your everyday efforts.
Mm-hmm. I would add that, especially on Google, it's important to see the number of reviews are similar to your competition. So it appears that the number and the star rating plays into where you show in the maps listing on Google. So if you have 2 and your competition has 100, work even harder on that process.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question. My store has 3 different locations. Do I need a separate page for each of them? What do you all think?
What do we need by pages? Maybe like Google My Business pages for sites?
I think that's what they're alluding to.
I'm going to say yes, absolutely. All 3 different locations brings in a different crowd. And so this is basically, to me, it's 3 different opportunities to be able to have content in that area or engage with your clients in that specific area, especially if you're a business that typically brings in their customers from just about 5 miles away, stuff like that. So yeah, you definitely want to have all 3.
Yeah, keeping in mind too, for Google My Business, definitely. I think for Facebook, it's not necessarily as important that you have 3 different Facebook pages. I think there you could keep it to 1 Facebook page.
Good point.
Yep, absolutely.
Twitter as well.
Perfect answers.
Yeah, if people utilize Twitter, Twitter's one you want to keep on 1 page for the whole company as well.
Great. All right, the next question. A crazy customer has gone and left reviews on all of my review pages. They are really rude and use what I consider inappropriate language. How do I get some of those reviews taken down?
Good question.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know Google and Yelp have certain standards. So depending on what this customer's definition is of inappropriate language, I believe those would go through some sort of review process with Google and Yelp. We tell our customers maybe not necessarily inappropriate language, bad reviews, but if you have bad reviews, the best way to do it is handle it like we discussed earlier, and then encourage positive reviews from customers have had a good experience to kind of help balance it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like on Google, you can flag those reviews. So if it's truly inappropriate, you can flag it. If it's just a negative review, right, that would be another opportunity to reach out. Again, take it offline, try to turn that negative into a positive. But absolutely, if it is truly inappropriate, the language is inappropriate, I would go ahead and flag that review.
All right, makes sense. The next question. Tracy asks, are there many different search engines, some not very popular but still out there with their own company listings, that we haven't signed up for or claimed due to unpopularity and possible irrelevance of the sites? What do you suggest for finding our listings on these sites?
I'm going to say that just about any listing, if we mean company listings or online directories, as irrelevant or unimportant I know as we may see them, you could put a list of probably 100 online directories in front of me right now. I maybe would recognize 5 to 10% of those, and I'm sure you guys would be the same, but they're there for a reason, and they matter a lot to Google, and they matter a lot to Yahoo and to Bing and to the other search engines too. So I'd say to make sure that your information is accurate, uniform, all the way across the board, anywhere that it can possibly be. And if you can accumulate reviews there, definitely do so, because every place is important, even if we haven't heard of it.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Google and Bing and Yahoo, they pull, those bigger directories pull from all those smaller directories as well. So if you have errors or inconsistencies on those big directories see that, and they're going to push you down their list each time. So it's very important to manage all those listings, even if there's some you haven't really heard of.
There's a lot.
I would add on vivial.net, or you can reach out to us. We can run a directory report to see how your business appears over 50 different directories. So we'll show name, address, phone number, and the ratings if we can pull them in. So that'll show where the inconsistencies are across a variety of directories. So shoot us a note if you'd like us to do that for you, or go to vivial.net. All right, Tim asked a question. I have a Google account for my business page, and I get messages almost immediately when someone leaves feedback. But how do I know what is being left on Facebook?
Good question.
Yep. So I would say certainly if you have the Vivio marketing platform, to certainly make sure that you're getting in there and checking those, because again, that's where we aggregate all of those reviews, and you should be able to get those text message reminders or alerts as well that you've received a review on that page as well. So again, the Vivio platform will aggregate all of those for you in one place, so you don't miss anything.
Yeah, and Facebook is one of the more random ones. Facebook is one of the ones where people can't, it's not just an actual review, but they can comment, they can tag you. They can do a lot of things on Facebook that they can't do in some other review sites. So that is one to keep an eye on, definitely. Have someone keep an eye on it. That one can be a little bit cumbersome to deal with if you're just waiting for something to come to you. You want to outreach for Facebook.
Yeah, business Facebook pages are set up under someone's personal Facebook account. So if you are receiving messages or reviews on Facebook, whoever is managing that, should be getting some sort of notification as well.
Awesome. So the next question. Kim asked, what is the Vivio marketing platform? Jason, we've talked about it quite a bit.
I've talked about it a lot, right? So the Vivio marketing platform is really an all-in-one marketing package where we manage your online reputation through directory listings, as well as pushing out content for you, where we're able to help improve the visibility of your overall business. But again, what we're talking about as it pertains to reviews is just one small piece of the Vivio marketing platform, but certainly a powerful piece of it.
We actually have now, it's a complete review generation tool that's added in, makes it extremely simple. If you have a name and a phone number, You put that name and phone number in there, you click a button, and it's going to send out to them an email or a text message. Extremely powerful nowadays. And so just like he said, it's all in one, and it keeps getting built on. And then there's lots of different tiers of it that you can have. So it's a pretty beefy program.
Yeah, absolutely. Requesting reviews is a great new feature we've added recently to it. And then, kind of helpful for the last question with the social media tab on the platform, you can connect up your social media platform or your social media accounts and have, monitor all those through the platform. So it is a very user-friendly all-in-one tool that would be very helpful for situations like this.
Yeah, you can also run a full kind of an email marketing type of campaign through it as well. There's emails, keeping track of all of those directories out there we talked about. There's so much to that platform.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so Kevin asked, how do you encourage a customer to edit their online review or provide an updated review if resolved offline? Tiffany, you talked a lot about this. You want to take it?
Yeah, I'm going to say that you absolutely have to be genuine. You have to care to resolve that issue, and you really have to put in some type of an effort. So I work with a business owner, and he had gotten a negative review and asked me exactly, what do I do to try to turn this around? We invited them back in. It was a restaurant. So for one, you say you're sorry, whether you're if you're, the right or wrong thing that we talked about before. But this person actually appreciated the fact that he genuinely apologized online and invited them back in to have a free meal. And then he went back in, resolved the review, put in another positive review from his wife and said, we're a customer for life. So that's a big deal. You have to genuinely care and, give them something, show a little bit of effort that you want to redeem yourself.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
All right. Tim asked, yikes, I have some places where I'm at 5 stars, probably because we are small and don't get huge numbers. What would your comment be there?
That's okay, Tim. That is okay. 5 stars. We didn't want to make it seem like 5 stars was something nobody likes to look at. Just, keep in mind that we are humans. And just like Shannon said before, we are going to read through those reviews and we will recognize crazy. We can recognize the people that are leaving reviews that are not about you or your services, that are just kind of off the wall. And people are pretty smart to make their own decisions. So if those are 5 reviews that are good quality reviews, you have nothing to worry about, Tim.
I would say you'd be more concerned if it were all 1 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing better than that. All right. Chelsea asked, when posting from my dealership, at times I get a negative comment on Facebook. It's not technically a review, but do I respond to the comment or delete? Oh, that's a great question. It is a great question.
So I would say absolutely respond to that, make a comment and address it before it gets out of control. So just like what we were talking about earlier with having that marketing platform notifying you when you get that review, make sure you do it quickly, because Facebook is a place where it can absolutely spiral out of control.
Yes.
If you don't get to it first and it starts showing up in news feeds of other consumers, then, like I said, it can just get out of hand very quickly.
Yeah, and even though it's not a review, it is Facebook. There's so many users on there. It's very public. So like you said, if you don't respond to that, their friends are going to know about it. Their friends' friends are going to know about it. Their family's going to know about it. So it could spiral out of control like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and I like what you mentioned. You asked, should I delete it? Because Facebook is one of the only options where you actually, or the only places where you have that option to delete it. So I'm with them in terms of try to respond to it. But you will find, and I have seen on Facebook, that sometimes you just get to a human being that's not interested in helping nor helping your business, or just snide, odd comments, really vulgar type of things. And those you can absolutely delete that person, block them, things like that. So just watch what other people are going to see. Some people you can try to talk sense to them, and they just are going to have fun with you and just keep, odd behavior. But Facebook can be tricky, so you can sometimes delete it.
I would also suggest replying to that comment, not adding a new comment. So hopefully when others are seeing that post, it's hidden. So it's not as visible as if you created a new comment on that.
Yep.
All right. Hold on for the next question. Valerie asks, what happens when you think you have received a fake review or a sabotaging review in Google from another company where the name isn't matching to a customer? So I think they're asking, what do you do with that if you feel like it's a fake review?
Well, I'm assuming since they're thinking it's a sabotaging review that it's probably negative. So I think step one would, even if you don't think it's legitimate, you still need to respond. Like we talked about earlier, I'm sorry you've had this experience. Please call us at, this number so we can find a resolution. That way, when people are, filtering through your reviews, they see you did make an effort to respond and, solve whatever issue this client had, even if, in this case, it wasn't a real client.
As long as the people watching know that you are genuine, I think that you're in for the win.
Yep. Yeah, as long as you're, like you said, as long as you are responding to it. I mean, if it's sabotaging to the point where it's inappropriate, again, you can try to flag that. But there are some instances where you're just not going to be able to get that taken off. Those are the instances where, like Tiffany and John both said, you want to respond to it. Make sure that that the public, everyone that's viewing your review site or your reviews, are seeing that you do care, that you are wanting to make things better.
And don't take it personal. It's just the nature of the game. Fakers are sabotaging reviews. I've seen them. Definitely don't take them personal. It kind of, a lot of the time will mean that you're probably doing a pretty good job if people want to do that. So
great. So last call for questions. We have time for a couple more. So put them in the comments and the Q&A box on the webinar platform. And if we can't get to them on this session, we will follow up with you afterwards. So Caitlin asked, how do you advise dealing with reviews from Google local guides that have never been to or used your business? We seem to be getting an influx of no comment, mediocre, or low star ratings from people that have never been to our establishment, and they are local guides that get points for leaving reviews. What are your thoughts there?
And I'm not as familiar with local guides for Google. Is this the map section what we're talking about?
So what I know about it is similar to Yelp, where they have individuals who post a lot of reviews that they have been marked as local guides. So this one's interesting in that they haven't worked with this business, so I'm not quite certain why they would be out there commenting.
Yeah, and I know there are companies like that where they kind of incentivize the consumer for leaving reviews and kind of push to leave more reviews. But gosh, with that, I mean, and especially if they're coming in and they're low star reviews, just try to drown them out or bring in more quality reviews and get people to talk more within the review. Shout out some good things about you. I think try to drown them out with some quality. And no one likes the ones that are just stars and no comments. So
yeah, and the key there too is that they're just star only, right? So just making sure that you're drowning those out with ones that are leaving comments. I know myself, when I'm looking through reviews, like when I was looking at the stroller, right, there were a lot of them too that were 1 or 5 stars that had no comment, and those ones you just breeze over because you don't know what it was. What was the problem that they had? So just making sure that when you are inviting that feedback, that you're asking for comments as well. Yeah.
All right, we have time for one more question. Last but not least. Okay, Ben asked, what if you have been in business for several years and have never responded to reviews, negative or positive? How would you start responding without it appearing awkward to onlookers?
I would say you probably wouldn't be the first business to jump in kind of a little bit late in the game and get a hold of those reviews. Depending on the amount of reviews that you have, it might be just fine to go back and send a couple responses to those people in the past. But if you've got hundreds and hundreds, maybe you just start where you're at right now, go back a couple months and just keep up on it. Like we said, recency is a really big deal.
It's never too late to start. So I would not, take that several years of reviews that you haven't responded to. I would not, have that influence you to never start. You need to start doing it. Absolutely. And, you're not alone. A lot of people are just catching up with the times. A lot of our customers are just now starting to really get into digital marketing and respond to reviews. So it's never too late to start.
That reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
Yes. I love
I
that.
like
Get
that.
started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our last question that we have time to answer. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much, panel members, for sharing your expertise and knowledge. I'm sure everyone online learned something new today. If you had any questions you sent in, we will follow up afterwards. Thank you.